Disclaimer, this is a topic that goes way deep in the depth I'm diving into in this video. This video is not a breakdown of Detroit gang politics. In this video, my plan is to take an overall look at Babytron's life and legacy, commenting on what I feel could have led him into getting involved in street politics, and explaining how I feel Babytron was one of the biggest artists to come out around COVID, arguably being the mainstream face of the scam rap scene in Detroit, ultimately even getting so popular that artists like Eminem and Big Sean would co-sign him. Thanks. I hope you enjoy. James Edward Johnson IV, better known by his stage name, Babytron, is an artist that arguably took over and dominated the underground music scene during the years of COVID, while also at the same time being one of the few new wave Detroit artists to get co-signs from legends in the Detroit music scene, such as Eminem, Big Sean, Rio the Young OG, and RMC Mike. This is the story of the biggest quote-unquote white boy out of Detroit since Eminem, Babytron. Originally being born in a town bordering Detroit known as Ypsilanti, Michigan, a young Babytron will live a relatively normal life at first. He would be on the lower income side of his community, leading him to see and gain an interest into the darker sides of the world around him, especially when it concerns money. One such interest would be scamming. Though it wasn't all bad, as a young Babytron would also gain an interest in rapping around the same time. Him saying in a Say Cheese interview that he began freestyling with his friends Stan Will and Trey D when they were around 12 years old. Most of the average motherfuckers take the name Shitty Boys as a meme name, but for those not from the Motor City, dog shit is slang for money. In the South, dog shit is used for heroin, so I've had friends assume they sold drugs off just that. But in reality, Shitty Boys is basically a way to say, we got money / motion. Nothing else. It's also why later Babytron and company would claim dog shit militia. Motherfuckers just assume they on meme shit, but they for real dead ass serious. Before we continue on with this story, there is a lot of talk about Babytron's ethnicity for some reason, as he looks white as hell, but he's actually biracial, in the way of his father is a black man and his mother is a white woman. This is most likely why bro started using the N-word when he was rapping at the very beginning, though he quickly dropped it once he started getting a buzz, given how he looks and how often he had to crack motherfuckers. That would get annoying to me too, I don't blame him. The first ever EP/song that Babytron would go on to release publicly would be the 2017 Different Breed EP, with songs like Dog Talk and Trippin'. You can tell this is very early because you can hear Stan Will and Trey D in the background of some takes, and the mixing is god awful. But honestly, you can still sniff out the talent these motherfuckers had early, as their flows are relatively the same as they are now, and they had a cool, unique scam bars even back then. Not to mention the fun, jovial energy these motherfuckers had. It's kinda infectious, I ain't gonna lie. Throughout the year of 2018, Shitty Boys would continue to drop music, but it wouldn't be until the summer of 2019 that Babytron, Stan Will, and Trey D began to pick up momentum and began to release music videos on their own. Originally, most of these music videos would be hosted on the Detroit rap channel, the Hip Hop Lab, which is still active today. Songs like the May 13th, 2019 track, Cheat Code, would go up in a big way in Detroit, given the hyper-specific Detroit beat mixed with this laid-back delivery and clever scam bars, and Babytron's Drake and Josh ass haircut. The music scene will go crazy for bro. And don't even lie to yourself, if you're a white boy with long hair right now, you cannot cap and say you didn't have the Drake and Josh haircut. I even had that shit in middle school, bro. Everybody had it. All jokes aside, this video would get a nice 840,000 views. And that same month, Tron will post yet another music video on the Hip Hop Lab YouTube channel, titled Jug Messiah 2. And even this track will get a nice 341,000 views, cementing Babytron's name in the underground Detroit zeitgeist, leading to Babytron to begin to collaborate with other artists outside of his Shitty Boy collective. One such example of this being the September 16th, 2019 track, Triple Double, in which Babytron would do a feature with the Detroit artist Big Money Rich. Arguably, Babytron carried this track, but this did serve to engrave his name even more into the scam rap scene, especially with him now collaborating with other artists. From this point on, Babytron would consistently collaborate with other artists in the scene in order to keep his name up and network. This was kicked into overdrive when COVID hit. On May 2nd, 2020, Tron would go on to do a music video called Green Goblin with Tay B, a large figure in the Detroit music scene at the time. Even bigger than that, the music video would be hosted by Jerry Productions, which if you're a fan of current rap shit, that is a big ass deal. He's basically drill royalty at this point. This track would get to a nice 413,000 views, and is arguably one of Babytron's first feats that stood out to me. This would directly lead to the July 17th, 2020 music video hosted by the underground SoundCloud legend .com-nirvana, Big Time. This would be the first music video that Babytron would have that would go crazy with the edits, which is something that he would later be a fan of doing in his music videos. This would be your average Tron track otherwise though, but his average shit is probably better than most people's best shit, so...
Are you sure about that?
I might be dick riding, but listen to it. Glaze aside, the next song I'm gonna cover is what will go on to put me on to his music, period. So I'm probably gonna glaze a bit more, I'm not gonna cap to you. On September 15th, 2020, Babytron will go on to do a feature with GTP Data on the track Huge Lifestyle. And I'm not gonna lie, when this song was first dropped, it was my favorite song for deadass like a year. It was never more than 2 clicks away from me at all times. And this is the perfect embodiment of the scam rap scene in my humble opinion. Everything from the soft piano beat to Dado and Babytron's laid back cadence with funny and really good bars, while not being too playful to the point of being seen as a joke. This is the perfect embodiment of the scam rap scene. Just a little bit of funny but mostly flex, very cool, smooth feeling songs, you know. A few honorable mentions around this time would be the Game Breaker track and the Cash Kid feature that Babytron would do, as those two tracks I often listen to but I didn't want to put in the video because of time. Deadass though, that Cash Kid feature is one of the highest energy Detroit tracks I've ever bumped. I fuck with it. Starting on February 13th, 2021, Babytron would go on to focus on putting music videos out on his own channel. Seeing that he was pulling so many views for other channels, it only made sense to grow his own and profit from it. The first song that he would go on to put on this channel would be Alley Ooper, which in my opinion would be the first song to show the most recent evolution of Babytron's image, the smooth, never-phased scam god he plays now. From this point on until around September, it will be business as usual for Babytron, him dropping tracks like Early Bird, Scam Stars, and Punch God 3, which would get 835,000, 215,000, and 839,000 views respectively, which as an independent artist is spectacular to get consistently. This was easily the year of the Tron, though it would pale in comparison to later years. On September 6th, 2021, Babytron would go on to release his first solo track to break 1 million views. That track being the track Cowabunga. The instrumental for this song feels perfectly sinister, which added on to Tron's monotone, chill-ass voice, meshes perfectly to create the most swagged out, flexing track he could have made. This track would get a whopping 1.6 million views. And that wouldn't even be the end of his success. In fact, Babytron would go on to break 1 million views yet again not even a few months later on his run-up to his Ben Reaper 2 album. On September 22nd of the same year, he would go on to drop the track Yeezy Man. This song has some deep-ass bass similar to Cowabunga, so I assume Detroit motherfuckers love to shake the city with their subwoofers. I can't judge at all, my dad used to be the same way in Georgia, but damn, these two songs getting 1 million views back to back is kinda wild. It would be after the Ben Reaper 2 album release that Tron would go up in a massive way, getting multiple singles back to back to back to reach over 1 million views. Songs like Eurostepper, Pissed Off, and Pallbearer getting 2.4 million, 1.3 million, and 1 million respectively. All them years of doing features and having poppin' motherfuckers host his music videos have paid off huge. To add on to all this success, on January 10th, 2022, Tron would go on to release an experimental track called Prince of the Mitten, where Tron would rap over 19 separate beats in a single song, and this experimental approach would pay off dividends, as this song would be his biggest up until this point, getting a whopping 7.5 million views, which in all honesty, he deserves. Who else you know can switch the beat 19 times and motherfuckers keep bumping it? Babytron would also continue this experimental style with songs like King of the Galaxy and his Cole Bennett music video, Emperor of the Universe. But unlike Prince of the Mitten, these songs would have beats from outside of Detroit instead of being strictly from the scene as Prince of the Mitten was. The Cole Bennett video taking over Babytron's top viewed video, as it would get a whopping 11 million views. That was Cole Bennett, so that's to be expected. That boy be doing voodoo to edit how he does. Babytron's success the whole year of 2022 would be quite consistent, with features with artists like Da Boy out of Oakland getting 1.1 million views, to songs like Peachtree, Manute Bowles, and Mr. Do the Dash getting 1.8 million, 3.8 million, and 3.4 million respectively. And these numbers would keep up for a while. Babytron's consistent quality, consistent uploads, and willingness to collab being the main drivers in his success around this time, I personally believe. He was fucking everywhere. On August 4th, 2022, Tron would even go on to host a cypher known as the Dogshit Militia Cypher, where he would go on to put on / get on the cypher with a bunch of motherfuckers Tron, Stan Will, and Trey D grew up with, so he by no means forgot where he came from. This track is honestly pretty good. I recommend it. I fuck with every single artist on it, I'm not gonna lie. The year of 2023, Babytron's hype would die down a little bit. Instead of getting 1 million views a song, he'd get 1 million every now and then, with most songs averaging around 600,000 views. Songs from around this time would be Wake the Fuck Up, Silly Me, and Rage Quit. Those tracks getting 345,000, 926,000, and 801,000 views respectively. Not bad numbers at all, especially for an independent artist, but some would claim bro was falling off. Those motherfuckers don't understand views though. Babytron was consistently one of the most played artists in his scene, even post his drop out of 1 million per video? What the fuck? English language aside, in the year of 2023, Tron would go on to release the Ben Reaper 3 album, which would happen to have one of my personal favorite Babytron tracks of all time, Michigan Ave. The music video for Michigan Ave would drop on February 1st, 2023, and would reach 1.6 million views. This song is like a mix between plug instruments and a Detroit drum pattern, which in my humble opinion is the best way to mesh those two arts together. This song is a great song to listen to when you high too, I'm not gonna lie. It would also be around this same time, on February 8th, 2023, that Babytron would get arrested for drug possession and gun possession, with him being found in Nebraska with weed edibles, psilocybin mushrooms, and a 9mm pistol. He'd get out of jail on bond pretty quickly after, and continue as if nothing happened. Though, as he's a rapper, he would go on to use a mugshot for a small 3-track EP, and later an album, and even merch. One of the songs on the EP was released as a single, A to Z, and that would end up with a nice 5 million views on the music video alone. You could say that this little jail visit helped to propel him back into the mainstream numbers. Not to mention that this song is super impressive and nice to listen to. Bro deadass lists every single letter of the alphabet and it doesn't sound trash. How does he do it? Whack-ass attempts at humor aside, a bit before the music video for A to Z, Tron would host a song called Waffle House, which damn near features every single poppin' artist from the Detroit music scene, from Babyface E to RMC Mike, and even Prince Hefe and Jay Hunnit. This song plays like a who's who in the Detroit music scene, and would get a solid 1 million views easily. From here on in, things would average out, with songs like Spidey Senses, RNF, and Not a Drill all getting 1 million views each. It wouldn't be until October 29th, 2023, when Tron would do a feature with upcoming Florida Jew, BLP Kosher, that his traction would end up going back up, with that song reaching 2.4 million views. And given how well the two artists bounce off each other, that ain't too surprising. What is surprising, however, is the most popular song that Babytron would do around this time would be a lot more experimental. It'd be a Milwaukee-based rap style that I can't even really describe in this fucking video. #Certified is the song, and you would think it's a meme track, but if you ever bumped artists like Certified Trapper, you would know that they're dead-ass serious. Shouts out to Tommy G, he's the only reason that I know what fucking Milwaukee rap sounds like. It would be around this era that Babytron would lead into a few gimmicks, specifically with songs like Stutter Flow, Down Up, and Yo Mama. Stutter Flow, he stutters the entire track, of course. Down Up, he samples the pacer test and uses it in his lyrics. And Yo Mama is a back and forth between him and Stan Will of him saying Yo Mama jokes, and him saying Yo Mama jokes back. I'm gonna be completely honest, I believe that Babytron's dip into the meme shit might have been what stalled his momentum in the mainstream rap industry, as when he was being more serious, seemingly, he was gaining more traction. As soon as he pivoted into the more comical gimmicks, he didn't fall off per se, but you can definitely see his buzz start to slowly diminish. As an example of this, songs like Case Dismissed, Kill the Noise, and #Tron for President would only get 624,000 views, 854,000 views, and 726,000 views respectively. Still really high numbers, just not as big as he once was, if I'm being honest. With all that being said, Babytron's most popular feature to date would drop around the same time as these songs. That feature, of course, being the July 8th, 2024 track with Eminem and Big Sean, Toby, where Babytron will be the hook and the first verse, which is huge when it comes to how big and legendary the other two artists on this track are. This song would get a whopping 49 million views and would put on a lot of the Eminem white boy audience onto Babytron and the Detroit flow. This wouldn't necessarily translate over to Tron getting a massive bump in viewership. More so, it served to gain the respect of the more lyrical, spiritual, individual-ass listeners that listen to Eminem and Big Sean. And it acted as Eminem's biggest cosign for the upcoming Detroit artist. From this point on, Babytron would coast, dropping music videos whenever he felt like doing so, and gaining consistent viewership while nothing has really changed since the drop of the Eminem track. Seeing that Babytron is still consistently dropping new music, there is a very real possibility that he can kick things into overdrive and become the top mainstream artist out of Detroit. Though seeing that he is just taking it casually right now, I'm not sure if that'll ever be the case. Either way, Babytron has one of the more solid and impressive catalogs out of the new wave of musical artists that I've seen. Here's hoping bro can continue putting on for Detroit and releasing great music consistently. I'll fuck with it. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment who y'all trying to see next, and subscribe with the bell to see all my future uploads. This was a bit different than the drill artists I usually cover on this channel. Let me know if you want to see me branch out more and do more artists like this. I'll do a video on anyone y'all ask for, to be honest. As for next week though, I'm gonna be doing a video on EBK Cyrac or someone else from Dallas before moving on to the Atlanta drill scenes or Stockton. Let me know who y'all prefer and I'll do it first. And if I miss anything, let me know and that'll go in the description. With all that out the way, peace out, chill out.
For the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part.